ProbStats kids, this is Dr. Callahan with Week 2 Tuesday. How are you guys doing? So go ahead and pause the video and answer the following 3 questions for your warm-up block for Week 2 Tuesday. All right, let's go ahead and start the assignment for today. So we're going to go to ProbStats. And again, your grades are also uploaded to this. So you should have seen your grades for week 2 Monday. So this is the grade for 5th period. And if you're in 6th period, you can go to that as well. Just go to week 1 Monday because I always update it by Monday and you should be able to see your grade. If you're like, well, how do I get an F right now? And it's only like the first week. Well, if you get a 50 out of 50 or 50%, it means that you haven't checked in with me at all this entire week, last week from Monday through Friday of week 1. You have not viewed any assignments. Now, if you get a 55%, that means you get a 5.5 out of 10, which means that you maybe viewed 1 or 2 assignment, but you didn't really turn anything in. Now, if you have like a 90%, it means you viewed all the assignment, but you only turn in maybe 4 assignment out of the 5. And of course, if you get 100%, that means you viewed all the assignment and also you uploaded and turned in all of your assignment for the last 5 days. So that's kind of how the breakdown works. All right, so with that said, let's go and create the assignment. Just going to create assignment. Week 2 Tuesday ProbStats. And today we're going to be talking about confidence interval of small me's using the t-table. Okay, so then your instructions for this is to simply go ahead and watch the video. Remember, all the activities are equivalent of 45 minutes. There are 2 links for you guys for this class. The first one is your YouTube channel. The second one is for your textbook, so keep that in mind. Hard copies are outside of my class. You need to check in with me by 3 p.m. every day. This is your schedule. 5th period ends at 1:35. 6th period ends at 2:25. I want to make sure I have this for both classes. 3:30 p.m. And I'm going to go ahead and sign this. And that should be popping up soon. All right, so for today, what you're going to be taking a look at is the following. There is one extra thing that you need for your guided notes today. And it looks like this. You're going to need a t-table. So this is actually not in your guided notes. So it will be best if you can go ahead and save this, or I'm sorry, print it out, or maybe take a picture of it on your phone so that you have access to it because you will need this. And I'm going to go ahead and save this and also attach it to your assignment. PDF, whoops, not PowerPoint, PDF. And we will do that for week 2. Save. Okay, so let's go back to this MS Team and let's make sure those assignments have popped up so that we guys have access to it. And it has, so let's go ahead and upload that. And here is your assignment. I'm gonna go ahead and send that. And make sure we do the same thing for 6 periods so that way you guys have access to it as well. Okay, so you have the guided notes for today then. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and just continue our lesson today. All right, so I go ahead and take a look at your answers for the warm-up log if you need it. This is the first 2 questions. Last time I saw you guys, we talked about confidence intervals. You guys had a brochure that you had to do with one of the 3 questions. This is a roster that you need, and this is the rubric that you're going to be grading yourself on. It's worth 5 points if you did part 1. If you completed part 2, which is read your word problem, identify the parts of the confidence interval for n, mean standard deviation, setting up the problem for the Z, C, E, and then also the confidence interval with the inequality sign, you get 5 points. And lastly, if you provided a short conclusion as to what the summary of the brochure is and what did you find from each of the 3 questions, your total is out of 15 points for the brochure for week 2 Monday. This is a breakdown for today. We're going to talk about confidence interval of the means using a t-table, confidence interval of the small mean, which is TC. And then, of course, your homework tonight is going to be here for week 2 Tuesday. So go to the Google Doc link and scroll down to week 2 Tuesday. You'll see the textbook there. Make sure you guys have access to this page right here. And let's go ahead and get started. So grab your guided notes and go to 6.2, where it says confidence interval of mean or for small samples. Go ahead and read the objective. All right, the t-distribution when the population standard deviation is unknown. So if you don't have the standard deviation and that is unknown, the sample size is less than 30, so you have smaller than 30 people, or whatever it is you're measuring, and the random variable x is approximately normally distributed, then you can find the TC with this formula right here. If you're like, there's a lot of numbers or letters there, what do they all mean? This is what they mean. X bar is going to be the sample mean. And you want to copy that part down. The U is going to be the population mean. The S, or the little squiggly thing, is obviously standard deviation. N is going to be the sample size. ZC, which we talked about last week, is going to be the critical value for Z. And then lastly, today we're talking about TC, which is a confidence value for Z. I'm sorry, critical value, not confidence value, critical value. All right, so if you copy this part down, let's go on to the next page. Properties of a t-distribution. The t-distribution is always going to be bell curved or bell-shaped. And it is also going to be symmetrical. Symmetrical means that it looks like this. If I fold it over, it's exactly the same. The t-distribution is a family of curves, each determined by a parameter called the degrees of freedom, so df. And the degrees of freedom are the numbers of free choices left after a sample statistic such as x bar is calculated. And the degree of freedom is always going to be the number of your population, so in this case, it'll be 30 or less, minus 1. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the examples. Here's the first one. It says find the critical value TC for a 95% confidence interval. So that's going to be a C equals 0.95. When the sample size, which is N, equals 15, use table 5. Okay, so your degree of freedom is always N minus 1. So in this case, it is going to be 15 minus 1, and that's going to be 14. Your critical value is 95%. And you're going to use this to look at the T table. And if you take a look at this, so here is 95%. Here is your degree of freedom, which is 14. And what you have here is going to be your TC value, and that's 2.145. So in this case, the probability that the confidence interval contains U is C. Now let's go ahead and apply this to a more difficult equation, okay? Example 2, you randomly select 16 coffee shops and measure the temperature of the coffee at each of the 16 coffee shops. The sample mean of the temperature is going to be 162 degrees Fahrenheit with a sample standard deviation of 10 degrees. So it's going to be either higher than 10 degrees or less than 10 degrees for the temperature of the coffee, and the confidence interval of 95%. So we need to find the confidence interval at 95% for the mean temperature. And let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now there are 16 coffee shops, so N equals 16. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to find TC, just like we did on the last example, okay? So then the degree of freedom is going to be 16 minus 1, which is 15. Okay, something just happened here. Give me a second. Let me see what's going on. Okay, here we go. We're back again. All right, your confidence interval is going to be 0.95. So you're going to look at the T table with 0.95 and 15. So here we go. 15, 0.95. Look at your T table. And we get 1.75, or hold on a second. There's something not correct here. What is going on? Yeah, it's 0.95. No, that's correct. So 1.753. So I have TC equals 1.793. Perfect. That's my first thing. Second part to this is going to be your find the margin of error. That's number 2. That is going to be your E-value. Remember, your E-value is going to be TC times the standard deviation over the sample size square root of N. So that's 1.793 times standard deviation is 10. Your N is 16. So grab your calculator and you should have 1.793, 10 divided by 4. 10 divided by 4 is going to give you a 2.5. Times that by 1.793. And you should have 4.4825 for your value of E. Third thing is you need to find the level of confidence for small mean, because remember you have only 16 coffee shops and it's less than 30. And that's when the X bar minus E is less than U is less than X bar plus E. So let's do that. Your X bar, which is your mean, is 162 minus E. E you just found out is 4.48. I'm just gonna round it up. Is less than U. So 162 plus 4.48. Go ahead and add those together, and that's going to give you the confidence interval for small mean. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and stop right there. That is the 2 examples that I want you guys to work on today. Now that you have completed that, we're going to go back to the guided notes right here. So next, what I want you guys to do is go ahead, and we have completed examples 1 and 2. You went over how to access and find your t-tables, which is right here. So next, what I want you guys to do is type this tiny URL in, read the summary of this notes, and jot down 4 interesting facts. So if you go ahead and type that in on your web browser, for some reason, mine is not popping up. So if mine is not popping up, that means yours is not popping up either. So let's just skip that then. Don't worry about it. We'll go to this one here. Watch a video and then summarize 2 examples. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. All right, you guys, that is basically it for today. As always, stay safe and healthy, and I hope you guys have a great day. Make sure you guys do your textbook work as well. Take care.